Anywho, so
Hi, Shay.
hi, Bree, in this kind of dark room.
That's who we are, hosting this podcast called 30ish.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
We are those two things. Well, we're people.
We
Wait.
are.
Okay, anyway.
Are we? But are we? Who knows? Do. It's kind of in tune to what I'm talking about today.
Oh, is it? And what are you talking about today?
Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Extraterrestrial.
Are you in that state of mind going, but are we really the aliens?
Yeah. Are we?
We are.
Do. That's not the Twilight Zone.
It's,
I
you're
wish
kind of
that-
close.
Every time I try to think of another song that would be like an alien movie or something like that, it just is Twilight Zone. Like, that's all I can actually...
Really? My,
It's like Twilight Zone.
anytime you think
song,
of the
even though I
alien,
didn't even
every
watch
time you think
that.
about aliens?
No, like, anytime I think about, like...
Hey, don't break
Like,
those
I'm trying to
blinds.
think of, like, a creepy little tune, you know? Like, a creepy tune. Like, I was trying to just think about
Really?
a tune that would go with, like...
I think about the Psycho theme song. Yeah. Just like that. Like when my balls
That
dropped
was
when I
not
was
it.
12 and my voice began to crack.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's fine. All right. So, how was your weekend? Yeah. Yeah. How was your week? Again, we're recording not on Sunday, so I'm all fucked up.
Yeah, what day is it? Is it Thursday?
It's Monday.
Monday.
Close.
Okay, good.
We're close.
Good thing it's not Thursday.
True.
Anyways, my week and weekend were fine. That's about it.
Are you gonna
What
be able
happened?
to
Something
hold
happened.
it together over there?
I mean, some things happened for sure, but what? Nothing sticks out for me this week.
You know, I feel like I'm having a conversation with like the actual fish Dory. Just where are they?
Whoopsie daisy.
It's completely fine. Okay, well, that was me just trying to be nice. I mean, like, how was your week? I mean, I
don't know. It was good. I helped with teaching children how to decorate cakes.
And how did that go?
It went really well. There were 2 classes, and the class I was in had like 6 kids, and they were like awesome and like stoked.
Yeah.
So that was sweet. And then there was an afternoon class that I wasn't like I didn't have to
Do anything?
help assist, or I don't teach it because they have another lady that teaches it who always has.
Oh, so you were
I'm
just like back up.
You can do it because I have my weird way of decorating cakes that's probably not the most perfect, and I don't think I've ever made a buttercream rose
What?
before. I never have.
You've never have?
Yeah.
You gotta make one.
Yeah.
I can show you. I can do a little demo.
You know
for
what?
you.
I'm being real as fuck right now.
Are you about the buttercream roses? Is that where you?
I
where you
mean,
get
no,
you're digging
but
deep.
I'm
sorry, I'm
I've
being an
never
asshole.
made one. I've never made a buttercream rose as a chef.
Are you gonna cry right now? I mean, we can stop this whole thing and we can.
might need to take a break.
We can make some Italian meringue real quick.
I came to that realization last week, and I helped with the children, and I also sorted all the sprinkles, which was super sweet. Sorted the sprinkles so they were organized and not thrown everywhere because everyone throws shit everywhere.
Okay. I mean,
And it stayed organized, and I'm fucking
maybe
happy.
you know what that
'Cause I was like, you guys.
throwback to last week's conversation. Maybe you had like a little meditative moment
was-
for yourself. Look at us connecting the dots here on 30ish. My brain is continuing to grow despite what statistics say.
Just just keeps growing and growing.
Like a weed.
Your
He
cat is lounging just on your leg, just chilling.
like a
with
little
his
villain.
he like is holding
It's
the,
because
your
he loves
under
me.
your leg
Yeah.
with his arm.
He loves me.
He was literally
Sometimes
just like
when I
holding it
go to
with his
sleep,
paw.
I drift off and hold his little hand. We hold hands when we go to sleep. Everybody, I'm just kidding. I do
I
not
don't
hold
think
my
you're
cat's
kidding.
hand when I go to sleep, but I do actually know somebody that does that. I will not name her name, but yes, I do know somebody that does that. I'm like,
Every
oh,
night?
yeah. And
She brings her cat to her
she
one
tells
night
me that like that's how they
stands.
go to sleep. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's Jesus. It's okay. She's married. It's not that weird.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
The cat just sleeps in the middle.
Yep. He just loves her so much.
That is pretty cute.
Oh yeah.
Anywho, what are we
We're not
drinking?
drinking anything special today because I think I needed a break for some rum. My little
and
stomach
we
needed
need to finish it.
My 30-year-old stomach needed a break. So yeah, so we're kind of wouldn't say we're cheating. We're just being lazy. And I'm just drinking a White Claw right
We're
now.
being resourceful. We're drinking what we got.
That's true. We're gonna
Actually,
and then I'll probably
not
switch
what
up.
we got, what Shay
We'll
has.
probably switch to beer here in a minute after this. No, so you told me that you had a story about White Claw.
Oh yeah, I did. It's pretty funny. My friend,
I'm like, okay, well, you got to tell me it.
my best friend Annette, literally all the time on her Instagram stories, will be drinking White Claw.
Also, hashtag White Claw sponsor us.
Exactly. So every story she has, she is like hashtag sponsor me, hashtag white, like
Dude,
all that.
she's like
Everyone,
she's like a
She-
little White Claw
all of them.
whore.
And she did the best fucking White Claw post, and she wrote hashtag sponsor me this weekend.
What was
And
it?
was just really funny. She was like at one of her best friends, one of her really good friends' birthday parties. I guess that's what you call it.
What do you call it?
Her 30th birthday. Her name is Michelle.
I think they're called birthday parties. I don't know. It's like a gathering of
It's
friends,
like
and we blow
when
out like these
people-
candlesticks.
They like went to Palm Springs and this amazing house with a pool and all this shit. Like
That's
it
the
looked
way to do a
badass.
30th birthday.
Yeah,
That's
hell
awesome.
yeah, Michelle. Anyway,
Oh my word.
anyways,
Lock it up.
okay.
Anyway, it was really amazing, is what you're saying.
It was in a waterfall. Like she posted it up in this waterfall
She
that
was
was
like
behind the
like
pool.
a fucking influencer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's just trying to hustle them.
See,
She's trying to hustle with them. She want them to sponsor her. So I literally sent it to White Claw. I guess some of her other friends did too.
you do have. I
I
mean,
don't know if it
come
worked,
on.
but we're
Lisa
trying to get her
Frank has
to get
kind of-
sponsored.
Lisa Frank has kind of responded to you, so you got quite the following.
Oh,
You're doing her a
yes.
favor,
They
let's
haven't
be
followed-
honest.
Lisa Frank hasn't followed me yet.
One day, Brie. Anyway, so
What'd
yeah,
you roll?
after you get done with your, which I don't think we talked about how something about how you think about Twilight, the Twilight
Twilight
theme,
Zone.
but you didn't tell us what you were talking about today.
Oh my god. Is that what I came up with? Oh, I'm talking about aliens. And
What?
I'm talking about I didn't even.
Is that what you came up with?
Or
Okay, keep talking.
What?
Oh my god. It's amazing.
no, my god, no. I rolled paranormal. And I
What are you
am talking a little bit about aliens.
Oh, so what kind of aliens are we talking? Are we talking like
Well,
yeah.
where it's speculated that it's aliens. It's not for sure, but it's it's a pretty
You don't
it's
have
a
to tell me
pretty
yet.
sure
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll tell you later. I guess am I about to go into this? Am I going?
This is like our 16th episode. So how do you think it works? Anyway, yeah, so what I rolled, Brie, thanks for asking. I'm just kidding. I know you're like all kind of, so I'm just making you nervous. Anyway,
I
so,
am.
And then, so after you talk about all the loveliness of aliens that that we all should know about,
It's not very lovely.
I'm not being sarcastic.
just
I do believe
weird.
in aliens. I absolutely believe in aliens.
Yes.
Because it just seems like a great waste of space if it was just us. Even though I really believe that we're like the Alabama of the fucking universe. Anyway.
We are.
Yeah, we are. So my story's a little bit long, but it's kind of fucked up. So
Yeah, mine's not the happiest.
yeah, well, we're gonna find out here in about
It's kind of
45
creepy,
seconds.
and then I have some inside stories to tell as well.
With that being said, should we just get into it?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Today,
You're lucky I just assumed that you were gonna start, and I just started recording. Fucking asshole.
I thought that's what it meant. I assumed that's what you meant by what you just said.
Whatever.
bitch.
You just,
I am ready to go.
forgot who the real star of this fucking duo is. Fuck me, right? They just fucking goddamn edit the whole goddamn thing.
They didn't call me Hollywood
best
on
damn
my soccer
editor.
team for nothing.
Did they really? Hey,
Yeah, I made
Hollywood.
them. I told them to.
It's like, but again, like I think I told you this before in
Whatever.
another episode where I was like, anytime that has a nickname Hollywood, it's like Hollywood, and he like takes his snoot, like his shoes, like in Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
Hollywood.
Maybe that's why subconsciously.
1994. Or was it 92? Anyway, okay. So you're talking about what?
My topic is paranormal.
Mm-hmm. Which we talking about
My
today?
topic is cow mutilations of the 1970s,
The-
aka aliens, bitch. That's literally the title that I wrote.
You don't think it's like
I
a
will
saber-toothed tiger or
prove
something
it.
like that?
What?
You don't. You know.
No saber-toothed tigers. No. People probably thought that. That was probably one thing.
They
there
probably
are a couple
did.
different things.
Where did it take place?
In the Midwest, like
There's
the Midwest, the whole
fucking
Midwest. It
saber-toothed
also happens
country for
still,
sure.
apparently.
Does it?
Yeah, but
They don't think it's a hoax.
who knows? I mean, I don't. I mean,
I'm just
they
giving.
did
I'm busting your
then,
balls.
They do now, but
Yeah. I'm just.
oh, girl, I'm gonna answer your questions because I
I'm
know
just
a
busting
lot.
your balls, man. It's all good. Okay.
Oh,
Show me. Hey, boo boo.
what?
I'm
are
just
you
talking to,
about?
again. I'm
Just
talking to my
kidding.
cat. Hey, boo boo. You just tell me, boo boo.
Hey,
We got
boo-boo.
really intimate in these last two seconds. It's fine.
Oh, little colonel.
Okay. So.
Anywho, so
Tell me
since the
some
1970s, bizarre murders and mutilations of cattle have been reported across the nation. Actually, it's not just in the Midwest, but it's primarily in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
The reports include cattle having ears, lips, eyes, nose, anuses, and genitalia removed with surgical precision. And this was in the 1970s when there wasn't really a lot of technology. There was like no technology like
Was
that.
there like any blood or anything?
There was no blood traces. There was no tracks of
trails or
people,
anything?
no tracks of an animal. It was precision. Like if it was an animal, it'd be ripped apart, you know?
Right.
So it was like laser precision, just random parts of these cows taken, like mostly organs.
Right.
And yeah,
That's gross.
yeah, real weird. And it would happen like, sometimes it would happen on like the same night
Yeah.
in different places across the Midwest. And they were like, oh, it's just they thought it was like cults. They thought it was, you know,
Like-
but it was like, but how could they do it with such precision? No tracks.
right.
No,
Like
nothing.
Hundreds of miles away from each other, or like
Yeah,
or,
like,
like-
hundreds of miles away
so
from
it
each
didn't
other.
make
It
any
happened on the
sense.
same night.
that's pretty
Sometimes.
crazy.
Crazy stuff.
Was
all,
like
yeah,
when
all around the same time in the same.
right. So like, but when their cows got all chopped up,
Oh, they weren't chopped. They weren't
Or-
chopped. They were perfectly preserved.
right. But like, was there crop
Okay.
circles?
Let's be clear.
Stop yelling at me.
I don't know. I literally whispered at you. That was literally a whisper.
But yeah,
Um,
was theirs? Was
sorry, what did you
was
ask
theirs?
me? Wizards?
Were there wizards? Were there crop circles?
It could have been
associated with it?
wizards. We're right.
Okay, perfect. I knew
didn't
it.
put
Harry
that in the
Potter
story.
it was just him. No, was there crop circles?
I don't. There might have been. I think so. There was a lot of activity happening around these mutilations too. So people were reporting seeing weird aircrafts and all this other stuff, which
weird.
I'll talk about later in my personal top secret story.
Personal top secret
I
story.
was trying to think of a really cool
It's
name.
like a double
and I
negative.
couldn't.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Personal top secret story.
Could be a theme song for I don't know, a segment. Sure. Okay.
Boo, 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 top secret story. Personal. Okay, we're done. Anywho, yeah, so
You could like create the jingles for like fucking radio.
okay, back to the story.
Back to the story.
This isn't the top secret.
Isn't
personal
it funny
story yet,
though
but-
that we're talking about cows and Colonel kind of looks like a cow that sitting in my lap?
He is a cow. He is a cow.
I knew what you were trying to do. You were trying to combine cat and cow, and it just came out cow, didn't it?
It's cool. Yeah. Anywho, that's
Okay,
for
go
Mean
on.
Girls, right?
What?
Ghoul when she
Oh.
like says
Yeah, I forgot
cool
about that.
and great.
Mhm.
Anyway, so there's been conflicting theories about what these weird mutilations were caused by.
Okay.
Some believe either aliens
Duh.
or the government are responsible for the mutilations,
Okay.
or mutes, which is what they ended up
Okay.
calling them back then. Anywho,
Well, that's what they're called now.
and now
Wait a minute.
the mutes. That's a thing.
What'd you say?
Mutes.
I-
They called them mutes.
You keep saying it, but don't you know what a mute is?
I guess I don't. I mean, a mute is a person that doesn't talk.
Right.
That's not what they're saying. They're not saying mute. They're not saying mutes, did it?
That's what I was. That's what
They abbreviate mutilations to the word mutes.
I thought you were saying it was either the government, aliens, or mutes. And I swear to God, you said or mutes. I was like, what the fuck?
I did because I was saying or mutes, which is what they called them back then. But you, that's what I said.
Called what back then?
The mutilations. They called them mute.
Or
I-
you're saying or mutes, so I thought you were saying like what? These three people were
You're
responsible.
right. It was confusing.
Them or the mutes. I was like, that's a very aggressive way to show their feelings. I don't understand. Super confused. Anyway,
We're just gonna not talk to anyone and take these cows' organs on the same night. Laser precision. We're mute, so we know how to do that.
we know
We
we can
harness the
see
power.
and hear really well because our other
We do it
senses
with our eyes.
not great.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Okay, anyway, I need to get going.
That was really funny though that I thought you were legitimately saying the mutes were partially responsible.
They
but go
could
on.
be.
I don't
That
know.
could be a theory.
No, none of them would have ever ratted each other out, so it would have been fine. Anyway, go on.
It's the perfect crime. Mm-hmm. Let me take you back to 1973, Shay.
Please do.
On a bright, sunny morning in the summer of 1973, Ron and Paula Watson, two farmers in Springfield, Missouri, witnessed something that changed their lives forever. It was an alien abduction, they say. But not of a
Sorry.
human, Shay, of cattle.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at the mutes.
What?
I'm still laughing about the mutes.
You're a mute. You better be a mute so I can get through this goddamn story.
Okay, go on.
Just kidding.
That's fair.
They said they saw a green cone-shaped craft next to which two silver little beings were standing over a large black cow. I told Ron, my God, they got a cow. What are they doing to it? Paula said. This is a legit story from an
I'm
article I
really
read.
enjoying the
Okay.
voices that are happening right now that are coming out of your mouth.
Okay, good. It had its eyes open and its tongue was like hanging out a little bit, but it just laid there and it didn't move. She described in detail how she saw the aliens running their hands over the cow and then inspecting their long fingers before they floated it to their ship in the distance. They said they saw all this.
So let me guess that these guys were green, had big heads, and big black eyes.
I don't know. They didn't. They said they were gray. Silver. They were silver.
They're silver
Little
and gold.
and thin. No, silver. Silver is not gold.
I said silver and gold, you dumbass.
Oh. Silver and
There it is. Okay.
So it sounded like something out of an early science fiction film.
Clearly.
And that made a lot of people obviously not believe it. And this was just one of the many of thousands of stories of cow mutilations reported across the United States during this time. All during the same time. Across the United States.
that is pretty crazy.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
So,
I'll give him that.
Yeah. And it still remains to this day like an unsolved mystery by the FBI could never like
Figure
it out apparently, and there's all these conspiracies around it, and it's like we really know what's going on.
Yeah, was there like a full investigation by the FBI?
Oh yeah, there would be. So this was happening all over the Midwest. In 1974, the newspapers started to catch wind of these bizarre mutilations because there was all these stories coming out about it.
Right.
And yeah, FBI were going to farms and stuff, but they weren't telling it. Like they weren't really telling anyone what was going on. The FBI wasn't, but then they were saying it was unsolved. And anyway, So the most instances were reported were scattered around South Dakota, Colorado, Kansas, and Nevada, apparently. And the FBI did have a 32-page report on the subject, and it's prefaced by a brief explanation that their investigation was hindered by a lack of jurisdiction in most cases. So back then, I guess, like, they weren't allowed to go in and, like, because it was cow mutilations and it wasn't like people.
Right.
There
so
wasn't it wasn't like a top priority, or
but
they didn't
still,
really.
I'm sure the farmers were pissed off. 'Cause, like, that's fucking money, you assholes.
Yeah, and also it's like this is happening all over the country, and you guys think that it's just a bunch of cults. Sweet, this is insane. And then also these farmers were seeing all this other crazy shit happening around their farms before and after these mutilations. Like little, cone-shaped things, and little, like, there was a lot of UFO sightings and like unexplained things in the sky and unexplained like abductions and all sorts of stuff happening.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, all around the same time, but it's unsolved. Give me one of those dried mangoes.
Okay. Like my hunger.
Thank you. You like read my mind because I was like, oh my God, I want some. And you went and got them.
I did.
I manifested that shit.
Aliens.
Do.
They're outside the door. Or they're right in my little flesh suit right now.
Right. So, many residents reported seeing helicopters circling the areas where cattle
choke on the mango.
later turned up dead and sliced up with seemingly surgical accuracy.
Well, that's not good.
This prompted concerns that the mutilations nicknamed mutes. Sorry, that was a better way to word it.
I get it now.
By those familiar with that subject were being propagated and covered up by the government. This is around the same time of the height of alien paranoia in the United States, when UFOs or balls or discs or floating light were being spotted in a lot of the same kinds of rural areas around the country, often preceding or following cow mutilations, like I said. So, So one lady named Linda Moulton Howe, who is a regional Emmy-winning filmmaker, and the Watsons shared their story with her, the little story I told you in the beginning of my story.
Right.
She made a documentary called Earth Mysteries, Alien Life Forms.
Ooh.
And she's a very steadfast supporter of the alien argument.
Wait, say that name again.
Linda Moulton Howe.
Yep. We have. Never mind.
What? Who's that? You know her? She's your cousin?
No, she's been a guest frequently on Gaia. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
she
she's
cray?
on. She's on.
So what do you think
I
of
have
her?
never met her. She's. I've never really listened to a whole lot of what she says, so I don't know really what her viewpoint is on it. But you're gonna give me a little bit of insight on it. She does like a show called Truth Hunter and shit like that, all about aliens. So, go on.
Got it.
I was like, that name sounds familiar. Oh yeah, I've seen her face before. She looks like your grandma. It's kind of weird.
She's an old lady. In a 1990s symposium proceeding how...
I like the snap on that.
I was like, yes, I
nailed
fucking
the
said it
word.
right. I almost said it wrong, but I said it right. Almost read it wrong. Proceeding how wrote, I found in so many eyewitnesses accounts of orange glowing objects the size of football fields hovering above pasture lands where mutilated animals were later found, or beams of light observed shining down from silent helicopters, in quotes, which is what they called them, because what else are you supposed to
Right.
call it?
Right.
Especially if you've never even heard of an alien, you live in the middle of nowhere in
Right.
goddamn Kansas.
That spooky dish took my cow right up.
Spooky dish. Okay, remember that?
Write that down.
They also talked about beams of light shining down from the silent helicopters. They lit the pastures brighter than daylight. The next day, the mutilated animals were found. The eyewitness reports of strange crafts or non-human creatures involved with animals were also very prevalent during this time.
I have a question really quick.
Yes.
Was it just cows?
Yeah, I think so.
Which is weirder. Okay, go on. I was just curious.
It was just cows, I think.
Okay. I was just curious. I
Um,
was wanting to ask that. I forgot. Anyway, go on.
That's mainly what you hear about.
It's cows. Not like cats or ferrets or prairie dogs or...
I feel like
Horses.
maybe a goat or a horse, maybe.
It's always the goats or the cows. Those poor guys. That's why everyone thinks it's the chupacabra.
But
That's a
it's
tale
not.
for another day. Go on.
Ooh, it's actually aliens.
Yeah.
Oh. That could be.
Could be.
Because
was always
it does
drained from
happen.
blood.
It actually, it has happened all over the world.
Yeah. Or the
It's
kukui.
unexplained.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's probably some goddamn cults.
It's probably just some whatever.
Anywho.
Okay, go on.
So, a woman named Judy Doherty in 1973 watched a brown and white calf rise in a pale beam of yellow light.
Oh.
Inside the calf, she saw tissue cut from the eye,
Ew.
tongue, and testicles by two small
Wait.
gray-skinned creatures.
Wait,
I
wait,
guess
wait.
she was abducted.
Well, I was like gonna say, was she in the craft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she got abducted. This is
And
an
she
abduction
watched
story, sorry.
them mutilate this poor cow.
Their eyes had vertical pupils like a cat or a crocodile's.
The alien.
Are you an alien, Colonel Mustard?
Don't look at her.
I did just watch Captain Marvel, and that cat's fucking.
That was a
nuts.
badass cat, right?
That cat's badass. I like him. Her.
It was a ham. I don't know. I don't know what he identified as.
It took me 2 days, but I watched the whole goddamn thing.
Why did it
Second
take
time
you
I didn't.
2 days.
Because I fell asleep the first time, obviously.
Man, Marvel movies are like your fucking just
No,
Sandman.
any movie I watch, I fall asleep in
just
if I
kidding.
sleep if I'm at
I'm
my
just
house.
kidding. It's good. It's
Let
good.
me just explain
or
that.
the movie theater, because the sheets are goddamn. The
Not
seats
always.
are goddamn comfy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the aliens' eyes were like
Like a cat.
cats, like a kitty cat.
Or a crocodile.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah, crocodiles and cats have the same kind of eyes. That's weird.
It's because you can't trust them. Don't listen to me. It's fine.
Yeah,
It
your cat's
pops
just
out.
chewing on your cord.
Oh, don't do that.
Judy's daughter, Cindy, also described in a 1990 hypnosis session seeing a calf rising in a beam of yellow light. So they both were abducted.
Oh.
So I found this like little clip or picture of a like, I don't know, magazine article thing from back in the 70s, and it says, "The mutilation mystery. During the past 3 years, more than 1,500 cattle in 22 states have been killed and mutilated, their blood drained, and selected organs removed with surgical precision. Suspects range from satanic cultists to government researchers."
Oh, that's lovely.
Another little fun fact, U.S. Senator Floyd Haskell from Colorado pleaded with the FBI to become involved with the mutilations in August 1975 after receiving more than 130 cases in the state alone. And farmers had
Damn.
taken to arming themselves out of fear. So I also found this like letter. It was from Theodore Roszak. Or it was to Theodore Roszak, who is the special agent in charge, I guess, in Colorado, it looks like.
Oh.
It says, I'm going to read it.
Okay.
"For several months, my office has been receiving reports of cattle mutilations throughout Colorado and the western states. At least 130 cases in Colorado alone have been reported to local officials in the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the CBI, the Colorado Bureau of
There it is.
Investigation."
I was waiting for you to like connect the dots.
Jesus, Brianna.
It's kind of funny.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Has
I'm sorry.
verified that the incidents have occurred for the last 2 years in nine states. In the last 2 years. That's crazy. That's how many was
bananas.
happening. 2. The ranchers and rural residents of Colorado are concerned and frightened by these incidences. The bizarre incidents.
It's
The bizarre mutilations are frightening
It's
in
fine.
themselves. In virtually all the cases, the left ear, left eye, rectum, and sex organ of each animal has been cut away and the blood drained from the carcass, but with no traces of blood left on the ground and no footprints. In Colorado, Morgan County area, there has also been reports that a helicopter was used by those who mutilated the carcasses of the cattle, and several persons have reported being chased by a similar helicopter.
by a helicopter.
Yeah, that's what they're saying it is. Because they don't know what it is.
So that's what the FBI is saying. What it is.
Well, this is his letter.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they changed the language, but
Not to spooky
because I'm
plates.
gravely concerned by this situation, I am asking that the Federal Bureau of Investigation enter the case. Although the CBI has been investigating the incidents
I like it. You're adding plurals to things. I love it.
and local officials also have been involved, the lack of a central unified direction has frustrated the investigation. It seems to have progressed little, except for the recognition at long last that the incidents must be taken seriously. Now it appears that ranchers are arming themselves to protect their livestock as well as their families and themselves because they are frustrated by the unsuccessful investigation. Clearly something must be done before someone gets hurt.
The cows have all gotten hurt, so let's just
Or
say that.
someone's gonna get hurt.
Maybe. That woman didn't get hurt, and she like went up there and watched that cow get all,
Yeah, that's
you know.
true.
But okay, that's
Yeah, so that's that. So, there were a lot of people that were obviously worried about what was going on.
Right.
And, like, seeing all this shit happening and being like, there's no explanation for this.
right.
What's going on? And then, like, and then other researchers, like, then other researchers were like, oh, well, it's probably just something else. They just had different conclusions.
Perfect.
So one guy named Christopher O'Brien,
Oh.
who was an investigative journalist on the subject, said that in his 200 cases of dealing with cattle death, about 40 of those were done by something with intelligence. He's more skeptical of the alien explanation, saying that Howe's research doesn't incorporate many of the scientific findings that have been made. He told DailyMail.com, which is where I got this little
Tidbit.
that when a cow decomposes, the vegetable matter contained in one of it. Oh, why am I telling you that?
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, I don't need to tell you that. O'Brien basically feels like the alien argument is one used to sensationalize the topic of aliens and are only looking at a small portion of the data. He can't deny, however, how disturbing the number of high strange cases are seen and the ones that involve otherworldly circumstances. He recalls his strangest case which was in Del Norte, Colorado.
Oh.
Even though he doesn't believe it was aliens, but he's like, well, this happened. I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
It was really freaky. It wouldn't rot. It was found in a complete pristine 5-inch snowfield without one drop of blood on the snow. All the blood had been taken from the animal. The heart and the liver had been expertly excised and left in the body cavity.
Ew.
The chief medical veterinary pathologist said it wasn't an animal that did this. And in his O'Brien's book, he writes that the month-old calf was also missing its spine from the hips to the skull, and the brain was gone.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it's just crazy stuff.
Maybe
So
the aliens didn't know what,
they just want to...
eating veal really meant.
Yeah, I don't know. He just said the funniest thing I thought he said was, it sounds like a bad science fiction. Who would fly hundreds of light years to come and gather cow butts? So
They're
that just goes
crazy.
to show. Anyway,
It's
that's just one
Stupid
man.
little
I just wanted to
aliens.
give one little other side, but it's like, dude.
yeah. Yeah.
Anywho, but I mean, maybe it could be the government.
Yeah. I mean,
Who knows?
To
They
just-
could have some shit going on,
fucking.
but it
like,
doesn't.
fuck with people's brains.
Yeah,
They could.
they could.
Like a form of manipulation and like a giant experiment to see what like a social experiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, now we'll talk about my top secrets personal story.
Perfect. Okay.
It's time.
Okay.
I forget my theme
It
song
is
for it. I'm
time.
sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Where's your mangoes?
Oh,
I'm
they're
gonna
down
need
here.
those for the next. Okay, good. I just want to make sure they're still over here for when you start to talk.
Did you see me get up?
No,
Okay,
that's
so-
why I got scared that they were gone, and I
Because of
didn't
the
notice
aliens?
that you got
It's-
up and moved them because you
it's
thought I was eating too many of them.
Yeah. Brianna, you really need to cut back on your fruit intake.
Hey. Okay.
Anyway, tell me about your super secret.
So I'm not going to tell you who. Some people might know who this story is about.
Yeah. It is
It's
not
about a
you.
family member.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say who because they specifically
We're
asked
like,
me not to.
Do not do that.
Because they think they're going to get.
In
Because
trouble?
this podcast is going to get big. It was really a compliment. Thanks.
Oh my god.
Thanks, buddy.
Person. It's okay.
Did I give it away? No.
Did you? All right.
Anyway.
go ahead.
We'll just say it's a family member.
Okay, you didn't even have to say that.
They're from Nebraska, so it's a family member.
Okay, go.
This story happened in Nebraska.
Okay.
In a town that this person grew up in
Okay.
Hardington. It's fine, I can say that. No one come hunt me down. So it was around this time in the 70s,
Okay.
and this person, hopefully I don't accidentally slip and say this person.
If you do, we'll edit it
It's
out,
fine.
so don't worry about it.
Him and his sister were out in the fields. Like their neighbors had been getting had these mutilations happen at their neighbor's house. It didn't happen at
It's kind of crazy.
their house, but it happened at their neighbor's house, and like they said that like the fucking Marines would come out and like there it would be blocked from the like there'd be a bunch of media, but like no one could like get
Get
the
in there.
story.
Yeah.
No one could get in. They wouldn't let anyone in. Like right after these things were happening. So it was like, if it was the government, why would the military be coming in and checking all this shit out? You know?
Right.
Right?
People say
But who
they're like,
knows?
yeah, people would say like it's a bunch of conspiracy theory bullshit. So anyway, go on.
And yeah, like I said, there was not technology like this around
Right.
then. So around this time, a couple of different things happened, but one thing was this guy and his sister were out in the field. They were with their cows and they were like feeding their cows or something. And all of a sudden this like, I'm pretty sure it was a black like disc looking thing like zoomed up onto him and like fucking hovered, like was like just over them, like
Right.
something they've never seen in their entire lives, something like they couldn't explain what it
Okay.
was except this black disc thing. And so they started running and then it started following them. They start running to their house. It's still following them in the fucking sky.
Okay.
And they get to their house. It stops and then it literally just blasts off into the like into nothing. It just like it just like shoots off and then it disappears.
And he swear he sees this.
Yep.
He saw this.
And his sister says that she saw it too.
Wow.
Same story. Both of them.
Damn.
As adults will say this story. And
That's
then
actually
also,
kind of insane.
I think it was either someone else in the town was driving down a dirt road, getting chased by one of these kinds of things,
Yeah.
going like 100 miles an hour down a dirt farm road in the middle of Nebraska, and this fucking thing in the sky is following it, going the same speed.
Right. That's crazy.
And then yeah, it was happening to like at the neighbor's house, and it was like really secretive, and
Damn.
yeah.
That's crazy. And that person still believes
Mhm.
to this day it was aliens.
It was something.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty. That's usually you get
Isn't that
like,
cool?
if you have like two eyewitnesses, it's like one has kind of a different story than the other, or like, oh no, that person didn't really see that. It's
Yeah.
interesting because, yeah,
Isn't that creepy?
that is kind of
What
creepy.
if you saw that?
I don't know. I probably would shit my
Pretty sure Caddy has an alien story. Caddy, share your alien story.
Yes, please do. Do it.
Or
Do it.
oh, she actually wrote it to me the other day
Oh,
because we were talking about it. But Caddy, she has one.
perfect.
Her and her dad saw like, I think it was like, and then her wife, who she didn't know back in the day,
Right.
and they lived in different parts of Texas. They are from Texas.
Right.
I'm sharing the story. I hope you guys don't mind.
They're like, no.
They're longtime listeners of the podcast. Anyway,
Whole 3 months.
but they saw like 3 really bright like lights in the sky in a triangle.
Right.
And then they like spun all together and then spun out into like a bunch of little lights and then like disappeared or something crazy. Like
What?
and like Karina has a similar like story like that. That's not exactly what she said, but it's something like that.
But it's like fate. I know. They saw the aliens.
Maybe
in the
that's
sky.
what. Maybe it was their Cupid.
The aliens were bringing
Cupid's
them together.
arrow.
That's what they do. They're just matchmakers. That's all they are.
Matchmaker, matchmaker. Could you imagine the alien dancing to that song?
Yep.
I'll make a meme about it.
Perfect.
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done talking.
Are
right?
you done now?
Yeah, that was long.
It wasn't. That wasn't the longest you've ever talked.
I just needed to shut up.
No, you didn't. Okay. Well, like that's pretty fascinating
Yeah, pretty
with the
sweet.
cows.
Yeah,
and
so what do
your
you
super
guys
secret
believe?
person.
Do you guys believe in aliens? Do you think that there's other forms of life out there?
I mean, there would.
Or
have
do you
to
think
be.
it's impossible?
Oh.
No, I
Oh
won't.
my God. Okay. Okay.
Good. Okay.
So murder now.
Let's go to murder.
Okay, so this is the story of killer Shirley Turner. Ever heard of her? She's a psycho.
Shirley Temple.
Well, you know what?
She's the
Weirdly
evil
that
version?
you say that is like she kind of tried to have that persona where she looked really innocent, but she was not. She was the devil in
Really?
disguise. She just had like this kind of mousy appearance, which I think it was like an all affront, so you know you would trust her and all this kind of stuff. Okay,
Those mousy bitches. You better watch yourself.
we all know who you are. Just kidding. I don't know who anyone
We like
is like
you,
that.
mousy girls.
We do.
but
okay.
not you, Shirley Turner.
Yeah. No, not her. She had this voice like, do you remember well, did you watch The Act on Hulu? Did you watch
No.
that? Do you know Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Have you ever heard of her? She has like
Oh.
this super mousy voice.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I did watch that a couple times.
right. So in the documentary that I watched on this, it's a pretty popular one too. You hear some of these interviews with her, and she has like this super mousy, not as mousy as Gypsy Rose, but just kind of I think she uses a manipulation tool and stuff like that. So how I found out about this story was
Wait, is Gypsy Rose the mom?
off like a different story. Yeah, no, Gypsy Rose is the daughter, and the mom was, I can't remember what her name was. Dee Dee. Her name was Dee Dee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Gypsy killed Dee Dee. Anyway, so different story for a different day.
Okay.
That one was really fascinating too. Only because if you ever watched The Act, and if you ever watched the HBO documentary on it called Mommy Dearest, it's like scene by scene is exactly what happened in the doc. There's like a little bit of tweaking, but what was crazy is like when I was watching the television show, I'm thinking like a lot of people don't realize that a lot of this is not fabricated or built upon. Like this is exactly what happened, which is insane. And you watch the documentary of Gypsy Rose, and it's really sad. But anyway, different story for a different day.
Damn.
So I stumbled upon this one. I saw it on Netflix. Like the little, like what it says, like you, like suggestions for you, and it's all like fucking crime shit and like a little bit of comedy, because that's all I watch is fucking either crime or comedy, because I need a little ha after I've watched some deep dark depressive after like some deep dark depressive shit, because I'm like, if I just watch Friends, it will never happen to me.
It'll go
It'll
away.
just go away. So I kind of put this one off because I had so many other ones in my queue. So, and I didn't actually know what it was going to be about. It didn't have like a little preview thing, and I don't like to watch a lot of shit that has like reenactments in it. I just don't like it. It might be a little creepy of me that I don't like that, but I just don't. I like to watch like
Yeah, it's
either
weird.
like
The actors are just so shitty
yeah, I just like to watch like
sometimes.
I like to watch shit that has like actual like the confession tapes were awesome. Like I like to hear the actual audio recordings. I don't want to see like the actual like every little scene of the crime scene photos, but I like to see like some of the crime scene photos. You know what I mean? Like not the super morbid ones, but just like I just like to see actual shit that was there. If that makes any sense. Anyway,
Yeah, I got you. I feel you,
so
girl.
when I was kind of looking at the cover, I didn't really know what it was, and I thought it was like be some shitty reenactment, whatever. So I put it off, and I finally I ran out of all the things that my fucking Netflix suggested for me. So I finally turned it on. So I had no idea what was going to happen throughout the documentary. So I was really like just learning as I was going, and it was the most bananas documentary, like crime documentary, that I had seen in a very long time. And obviously I'm going to ruin some of the shock factors and these I was audibly gasping at some points, but so I'm going to ruin some of that, obviously. If anybody hasn't watched it, or if you want, stop this right now and go watch it. It's called Dear Zachary, And if you have Amazon Prime, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. They pulled it off of Netflix because I think it was on there for a couple of years. So they finally pulled it off. And I'm sure you probably could honestly probably watch it on YouTube somewhere. Seriously. It's really, really good. So if you don't want to be...
Zachary.
Dear Zachary, a letter to... I think it's called Dear Zachary, a letter to... from his father to his son, something like that. But if you look up Dear Zachary, you can't miss it. Anyway, so yeah, so we begin.
Wait.
So what?
Father to son? I thought this was about Shirley.
Sorry. So the documentary was, I should have prefaced that. So the documentary, it's all of these home videos and all just about kind of that Shirley, the killer who killed Andrew Bagby is his name. It's a kind of about that case, and this guy named Kurt, I think I'm gonna butcher his last name, but it was Andrew Bagby's best friend. His name was Kurt, and he made this documentary. He was a filmmaker. So Shirley actually was pregnant with Andrew's baby after she told everybody that she was pregnant after she'd killed him and blah 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 blah. So Kurt took it upon himself to make this documentary so he could hopefully show Zachary one day, to show him kind of like this legacy that his father had left. So the documentary is called Dear Zachary, like a letter to father to son. So that's what it was for. It was supposed to be for Zachary to kind of show Zach like kind of what, who his father was. So it was compiled with all these home videos of Andrew and about his grandparents and all this kind of stuff. It's very, very cool. It's very well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so we begin. So Andrew Bagby, a gregarious family practice resident at Latrobe, Pennsylvania, was found shot to death on November 5th, 2001 in Keystone State Park by a homeless man looking for recyclables.
Keystone, Colorado?
Keystone State Park. So this is in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I didn't hear. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
Not in Keystone. So the coroner's office said let me move this closer to myself and move this closer like this so I can fucking read good. There we go.
You gotta learn how to read good.
School for ants. So the coroner's office said an autopsy showed Bagby had been shot by a .22 caliber bullet twice in the head, once in the chest, and twice in the rectal area. He also had a severe blow to the back of the head, post-mortem, so meaning that somebody shot him 5 times and then kicked him for whatever reason. So,
Perfect.
right. So you're like, I'm going, like just really to seal the fucking deal. I don't know. Like just a psycho.
Fuck you,
Yeah.
fucking...
Yeah, so clearly it was somebody that was like really pissed off at him or had something against him. And he was 28 years old, so very young. So Andrew was an only child and was brought up in he was an only child and was brought up in an extremely loving home, like the kind of home you see in sitcoms, like just fucking picture perfect. They all get along great and everything's fine, and nothing, there's like anything that can be, like any riff can be solved in 30 minutes. Just outstanding, like an outstanding family. I think he also was like an Eagle Scout and everything else, and he was funny and he had like 1,000 friends, and there was nobody had anything bad ever to say about Andrew. Or his parents, for that matter.
He was a goddamn Eagle Scout?
Oh, he was an Eagle Scout. If there was such a thing, he'd be the thing that was above an Eagle Scout. A Dragon Scout.
An anamorphic love dragon?
That's the one.
Anthropomorphic?
Yes, exactly. So, just super functional. High functional. His
Leave it to Beaver fam?
Kind of, yeah. His parents were Kathleen Daphne Bagby, a registered nurse and midwife from England, UK, and David Bagby, a former U.S. Navy serviceman and a computer engineer. So very smart, bright parents. So we're just gonna skip forward. Like I said, he was an Eagle Scout. Everyone loved him. Yada yada yada. In early 1999, he began dating Shirley Turner, a fellow medical student, 12 years his senior. So friends of Andrew stated that they felt Shirley wasn't at all his type, and that she was often heard making inappropriate and sometimes overtly sexual comments. His friends kept their feelings to themselves, however, as Andrew hadn't dated since his previous relationship to a woman named Heather, because they were engaged, but then they had broken up, and it sounded like she was the one that kind of broke it off with him, so he was like completely heartbroken. So they were just like, no, just like let him do his fucking thing. Like, we don't want to hurt his feelings, and his confidence is already in the toilet and everything else. So they're just like, it's just probably a phase. He just needs to like kind of like bang it out a little bit, and he'll be fine. Anyway,
Bang it out.
yeah. So just looking for some companionship, if you will. So
That's a very nice way to put it, Shay.
just bang it out. So in 2000, Andrew graduated and moved to Syracuse, New York, to undertake a surgical residency. At the same time, Shirley moved to Iowa. The couple maintained a long-distance relationship, with Shirley visiting Andrew in New York several times, but Andrew only like made the trip to Iowa like once. So you can kind of see who, was the one that was just trying to keep this relationship going. I don't think Andrew really wouldn't have had anything to do with it, but I don't know his life. It quickly became clear that surgery wasn't for Andrew, and in 2001 he took a residency at a family practice in Pennsylvania, and he couldn't have been like happier with that, and he was super happy with his his career. So he was like, at that point, okay, now I'm done with Shirley, I'm happy with my career, so I need to move forward. So throughout the relationship, she had shown signs of possessiveness and jealousy. So she would lash out at Heather, his ex-fiance, giving details of their sex life. And after Andrew was trying to get away from her, she called him multiple times and left 30 messages on his answering machine, and he didn't take her after he didn't take her to a wedding of a colleague's that she assumed she was going to go on. So she was like all like pissed off, so she called him like 30 fucking times, which was bizarre. So again, just possessive behavior, which he pretty much told her nicely to fuck off. He honestly didn't even know how to be an asshole, so there's that. But she just kept calling him obsessively. So in November, he was done. On November 3rd, he broke up with her officially in the Latrobe Airport, like the Latrobe, Pennsylvania airport, and put her on a plane back to Council Bluffs, Iowa, 1,000 miles away. So that was the third. Yeah, so that was November 3rd. On November 5th, a 16-hour drive, mind you, she shows up on his doorstep at 5:30 a.m. wanting to talk. Andrew calls his colleague Clark Simpson later that morning, explaining to him that psychotic, quote, that psychotic bitch showed up at my doorstep last night, to which Simpson told him he should have called the cops and ran out the back door. But Andrew just kind of shoves it off and like he totally believes that she's harmless. She just probably just needs some closure, and I'm just gonna go talk to her. I'm gonna go have some but I want to chat later, so I'm gonna grab some beers and I'll meet you back at your house like at 6 p.m. He doesn't show. And that's when they find his body in the state park. So when they eventually identify Andrew's...
Wonder what happened to him.
It's kind of a wonder. I wonder who did it. So when they eventually identify Andrew as the body found in the national park, Simpson states to police that they do not have to look far. And in the doc in Dear Zachary, you can listen to the absurd police interview done with Shirley, where she flirts, and she not only lies, she badly lies about her whereabouts, and about her gun that she owned. Quote, it's either in my closet, or my car, or my bedroom. I mean, guns are like snacks, like you never know.
You never know where you leave it.
Yeah, it's just you're just like, I can't remember where I put them. I just don't even know.
Where my Cheetos went.
They might be under my bed or in my underwear drawer. I just don't even know. I'm trying to go on a diet. I'm trying to help myself.
Wow.
So yeah, so she badly lies, and you just hear her flirting with the authorities, going, "Oh, do you hear my accent? Like, are you from Canada?" Like it's pretty horrendous.
Oh my god.
So, and as for her
A
whereabouts,
crazy.
yeah, she's bananas. So as for her whereabouts, she claims that she was sick with a migraine all day and was in bed. And the U.S. police, like the United States police, were like, I mean, you could hear in as like because you can hear like the progression of interviews that like that were recorded and they were having with her. It was like a fucking Maury episode. It was like, well, we got your test results back and we determined that was a lie. So she would switch her story every single fucking time that would happen. So it was pretty just absurd. And so they were like, they pretty much knew that she was just getting caught in lies and lies and lies. The police
Okay,
did.
good.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't go that way for long. So the cell phone records clearly show that she was making calls on the road from Latrobe to Council Bluffs while she was claiming she was in bed. So she just I mean, she wasn't even thinking. Maybe she thought that it couldn't happen. Yeah, I don't know. So she changed her story again when she realized she was going to be caught in that lie by saying she gave the gun to Andrew. And her memory was thrown off because, quote, she didn't expect she would have to come up with all of this, end quote. Actual quote from police. Like, so she was upset at the police. Well, not upset, but like kind of annoyed because she didn't think that she'd have to come up with this story. I mean, the way that she says things is so ridiculous. Anyway. So,
and they didn't arrest her right then?
Well, because they had to gather all the evidence. Everything was circumstantial. So they were just gathering all the evidence so they could whatever. And this is all happening pretty fast. Yeah. So as the police are gathering evidence, homegirl flees to Canada because she has residency there. So she flees. Newfoundland, to be exact. So she did come back for like a memorial service where she wailed and cried and just was like beside herself. And you actually see her in like the pews doing that. So charges were filed against her on December 12th of 2001. Newfoundland Justice Gail Welsh believed Turner, 41, wasn't a threat to society, despite the murder charges awaiting her in Pennsylvania, where they were trying to extradite her back to. So this is all becoming like not even the murder trial yet. It's just the extradition trial just to get her back to the States.
Oh my God.
Okay, so in exchange for her freedom, Turner was required to post bail, like a $75,000 bail, turn in her passports, pay weekly visit to the RNC, which is it's called the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, which is pretty much their police department. So
constabulary?
Yeah, it's very
badass.
They're very fancy there in Canada. So she was required to go and visit the RNC and just and promise and promise not to leave the area. Pinky promise, don't you leave, okay? They're just very nice there in Canada.
Do you promise?
And make no attempt to contact Bagby's family. Do you promise that you won't leave Canada? Scout's honor. Yeah. So Turner Turner posted bail to help. I'm sorry.
That just makes me so mad.
Oh, it gets worse, Brie. So
Great.
Turner posted bail with the help from her psychiatrist, Dr. John Doucette, a former coworker from Memorial University. Do you want to take a guess on how much he paid for how much bail he paid? Just take a guess. Just take a guess.
75,000.
Pretty close. 65,000. He paid $65,000 of her bail. Incredibly illegal. So my only thought is like, this girl must have a fucking gold or chocolate, whatever their preference is, vagina. Like whatever. And if you look at pictures of her, I mean, it's not like she's this drop dead gorgeous. I mean, she's
a manipulative
she looks like
sociopath.
she just looks like just a plain Jane. Like she's not ugly, but she's just, run of the mill, just plain Jane girl, She doesn't dress provocatively. It's like if you put her in a crowd, you wouldn't notice her. You know what I mean? So, anyway, so that happened, but it was like, okay, well, he posted your bail, so you're good to go. So then she holds a press conference to announce that she's pregnant with Andrew's baby. But they obviously can't prove it until the baby's born, because I think you have to have the consent of the mom in order to get like that, like the whatever it is called. I don't know what it's called. I don't know babies or pregnancy terms. So despite that, Andrew's parents, despite not knowing what who if Andrew was the father or not, Andrew's parents quit their jobs and that they were in California and flew to Canada to fight for their grandson's future. So so they just dropped everything and they just started over, because they wanted, if it is by chance, Andrew's son, they wanted to, because they figured she's going to go to fucking jail. Like, so they wanted custody of it.
Yeah.
So a little bit you should know about Shirley. She was a documented stalker before all of this happened.
Perfect.
So this was in her records when she was able to walk the streets again. Before, Judge Welsh never looked at any of these files, didn't do any of this. There's no, you just go ahead. Like, you're not a threat to society. But she had this on her record, which is insane. So, in March of 1996, Turner began a relationship with St. John's resident who was 13 years her junior. So she's got a little trend. After the man broke up with Turner and moved elsewhere in Newfoundland, she inundated him with phone calls in November of 1997. Turner confronted him in Nova Scotia and struck him in the jaw with her high-heeled shoe. So not only is she a stalker, she assaults people. But hey, she's not a danger to society. So, it's fine. After consulting with his parents, after consulting with his parents, the ex-boyfriend moved to Pennsylvania in 1998. However, Turner followed him and left threatening voicemails over the following year. Turner began traveling to Pennsylvania to make unannounced visits to the ex-boyfriend's apartment. On several occasions, he summoned state troopers to convince her to leave. He expressed fear to the police of what Dr. Turner would do next. In April of 1999, the ex-boyfriend found Turner lying semi-conscious outside of his apartment. She had ingested a combined 65 milligrams of over-the-counter drugs in what may have not been a sincere suicide attempt, but we won't ever know. Turner was wearing a black dress and carried a bouquet of red roses and 2 suicide notes on her person. One was addressed to the man and the other her psychiatrist. The latter read, "I am not evil, just sick." Turner was rushed to the hospital where her stomach was pumped. And the following day, the man found a voicemail by a female caller, likely Turner disguising her voice, who said, "Dr. Turner died last night." So just a grade A psycho. So she is documented as having this incident, but she was released and she was free to walk the streets. And she is suspected of murder and probably did it because they had all this evidence, and that she's in like an extradition trial. So anyway.
And they let her go.
They let her go, but they didn't look at this. They didn't look at that record. They didn't do any of that.
Oh my.
So
how?
Yeah, it gets worse. So she so she also has 3 children already with like a few different fathers, and had been accused, but it was never proven, of mentally and physically abusing the children. But nothing came of those claims. So just a little side note. So this is not like her, it's not like her first brush with the law, but which is sad is that she still got released, which is insane. Okay, so back to Andrew. In Canada, extradition involves a number of complex steps. First, the provincial and territorial courts must determine whether the accused should be jailed in Canada as the proceedings move forward. Canada's federal justice minister must decide whether to hand over the fugitive to U.S. authorities. Each decision is subject to appeal. So it's a long process, and David and Kate tried their hardest to make the best of it, with the extradition court's dates getting pushed back. So they were told several times that it was going to take forever and that the law is slow. And it's because you have to have all these steps, and you have to Everyone has everyone could like, there's loopholes all over the place. So they were told that. So while they were waiting, the baby was finally born, and his name was Zachary Andrew Turner, and he was born on July 18, 2002. They didn't need a DNA test, even though they obviously got one. He was a carbon copy of Andrew. And if you watch the doc, the pics are like identical. It's crazy. So they fought in family courts, and the court allowed the Bagbies supervised visits with Zachary to speed the process. They agreed to conditions imposed by Turner, including that they be searched before every visit. Turner said she was afraid that the Bagbies would try to harm her boy. Cue eye roll, like seriously. At first, visitation was limited to 1 hour a week with Zachary. As the months slowly passed, the Bagbies' visitation rights were expanded in the fall of 2002. Turner and her lawyer agreed that the Bagbies should gain temporary custody of Zachary if Turner were sent to jail, which she did for like a hot minute. She went to jail in November of 2002, and then in January of 2003, Canadian Appeals Court ordered her freed with the extradition case while the extradition case moved forward, claiming it was in no interest to the public that she stayed behind bars while she waits trial because she had killed the person that she was mad at. And then she was handed a baby. So she was, again, let free. Only after, like, what?
Knowing she killed someone?
Yeah, because they said like she had already killed the person that she was mad at. So it's in no interest to the public that she stay behind bars. So she can post bail again, and she can just walk free until the extradition case is finished.
This was in 2003?
This was in 2003, yes. And so she was only behind bars for like maybe 2 months. That was it. And after this, and after like she was released, she actually was writing, I think there was a judge, it wasn't Judge Welsh, but it was a different judge, and she was writing him and asking how to essentially stay out of jail and like how to like get around the system. And he wrote back to her. So a judge. So I don't know how she was manipulating people, but she was.
This isn't the end of this. Is this the end of the story?
No, it's not. It's unfortunately not. So she was handed a baby, and so the Bagbies had to give Zachary up. They had this wonderful like 2 months with the baby and everything else, and they thought that she was going to stay in jail until her hearing, but they were like, nope, you can go.
That is.
Which also during that like 1.5 month that she was in, she was put on suicide watch, I think, for the first couple weeks, and she actually had an incident where she attempted to stab an inmate with a fork. But nobody looked at these
how did no one look at them?
Because they didn't. Judge Welsh was again the judge that released her, and she didn't even. But she's like, nope, she doesn't pose a threat to society. But she was doing these things in prison, and she was on suicide watch, so she was mentally imbalanced. And they're like, here you go, and have your baby back. It's fine.
And have your baby
here
back.
Here you go, baby back ribs.
Have your baby back, baby back, baby back.
Exactly. So during all this time in jail, and then after she was out of jail, David recorded all of their conversations with this dingbat. You can hear like a good chunk of them on the Dear Zachary doc, and she is manipulative. She's trying to manipulate the Bagbies, like saying that they have to go to therapy, and pretty much like Dave was like, you can go fuck yourself, like. She was trying to manipulate them because she still had Zachary, so she felt like she could kind of manipulate the Bagbies. It was all a game to her, and she wanted to be the victim and all this kind of stuff, and they weren't having it. All they wanted was that time with Zachary, so they just played her game for like more than they wanted to. I mean, this is their son's killer, and they're having to jump through all these hoops. So,
oh my God,
I know. So, let's see. So after she was released, the Bagbies managed to still have visitation with Zachary by jumping through Shirley's hoops. And they also were doing it because they were assuming that she's eventually going to go back to prison. So they wanted to make sure that that was a smooth transition for Zachary, that, they were just always in his life. So, but however, like Shirley resented that Zachary favored Kate over her, like despised her for it. But Zachary always reached for Kate. Like she always, the baby would always reach for Kate over Shirley. So, so the baby was essentially rejecting Shirley. So August 18th of 2003.
That baby knows.
Right. So Shirley and Zachary were reported missing, and it wasn't long until they found him and Shirley deceased on a beach from drowning. Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
On August 18th, 2003, a little over his first birthday, Shirley and Zachary were reported missing, and it wasn't long until they found him and Shirley deceased on a beach from drowning. So it was a murder-suicide. So, but she was no threat, right? So this is the part in the documentary where I was like, I audibly gasped. Like, I did not see it coming at all. Like, I thought the documentary was kind of winding down. And then it was like, they went missing. And I was like, oh my God. Maybe they'll just find the baby somewhere, like, in a basket, like in Moses.
It would be.
And it wasn't. It was, yeah. So they found out that on July 4th.
I almost started crying.
I know, because it's rough. So they found out on July 4th of 2003, so back it up a month, Turner met a young man in a bar in St. John's. The pair dated and were intimate on 2 occasions afterwards. Not that that really fucking matters. The man broke off the relationship after learning from friends about Turner's connection to Bagby's murder. So he's like, I don't want any fucking part of this because I don't want to die.
When was this?
This is back up a month. So back up a month from August. This is July 3rd or something like that. July 4th. So she had met him in a bar. They were dating, but then he was like, go to fucking hell, bitch. Like, you killed your ex-boyfriend. I'm not about to be that. I'm not about to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that shit. So the man broke off the relationship after learning from friends that Turner's connection to Becky's murder. Turner made a total of 200 threatening phone calls to the man over the following month. Turner claimed
200?
Yes, 200. She's just a little obsessed. Turner claimed to have gotten pregnant by the man, and told him he needs to step up and be a fucking man. But no evidence was ever found showing this to be the case. Like when they did the autopsy on her, she wasn't pregnant.
What a crazy.
Yeah, she was crazy. So,
biatch.
Yeah, the man, this is the saddest part. So the man contacted the RNC.
This is the saddest part?
Yeah. On 3 occasions to complain that the man contacted the RNC on 3 occasions to complain about Turner's harassment, which violated the terms of her bail and would have been grounds to lose custody of Zachary. So, but because the man did not identify himself and declined to file any criminal complaint against Turner, no investigation was launched by the RNC. And when an RNC constable contacted Turner's lawyer about the harassment, Turner denied the allegations. So if he had reported it, Zachary would have taken it away from her, and none of this would have happened. Once again, so Zachary was failed by the system so many times, and honestly, Andrew was too. I mean, it was awful. I mean, it was a different kind of system, but anyway. So on August 18 of 2003, Zachary was scheduled to be in his mother's custody. Turner purchased 30 tablets of Ativan from St. John's Pharmacy. She then drove Zachary to a nearby Conception Bay South, where her former boyfriend lived. There, Turner parked her car near the house and left photographs of herself and Zachary, as well as a used tampon on the front seat. Ugh.
Ew.
Yeah, she's kind of disgusting. Police concluded that she was attempting to frame the boyfriend for the impending murder-suicide. After spiking Zachary's baby formula with Ativan and ingesting it herself, Turner strapped the infant to her chest and jumped off the fishing wharf into the Atlantic Ocean. It was determined, though, that Zachary Turner, I mean, this is like the silver lining of a very shitty cloud, It was determined that Zachary Turner was rendered unconscious by the Ativan and did not suffer. So he was knocked out, and he probably died very quickly, unfortunately. So during the doc, David talks about how he actually thought about killing Shirley, but he didn't, because that's not what people do. People rely on the government to do its job. And that's what they keep. They're activists now, and that's what they advocate, is that we were told the system was slow, and they failed my son, and that they failed Zachary. His death was completely preventable. So on October 2006, so this is this is 3 years later, the Turner Report, an investigation, is released. So I think it's just a report on the case of what happened. Finding that Zachary's death was actually preventable, and that Newfoundland and Labrador's, which is a city, I think.
The dog?
The dog, social service system did not adequately act to protect him from Turner. The provincial government of Newfoundland and Labrador accepts the report and its 29 recommendations. So it was given this report. It said, you guys fucked up. We fucked up. Here are 29 ways that we need to try and fix the system. And they took them, and they are implementing them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so that's at least something. So, and I believe Welsh and I think the head of the social service at the time stepped down. They resigned after all of this came to light because they fucked up.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, they fucked up.
I gotta go. I
gotta go. And I believe actually the psychiatrist that posted her bail, like 95% of her bail was, he got a slap on the wrist. I believe he had to pay like a $10,000 fine, and I don't know if he served any prison time, but then he just relocated, and now he's practicing somewhere else. He got reprimanded. Yeah. So it was a slap on the wrist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
meanwhile, don't have a little piece of weed in your pocket.
It's true.
You're going to jail for life.
Pretty much. So on October 23rd of 2009, Bill C-464, or Zachary's Bill, which would change the criminal code of Canada to allow the courts to justify their refusing bail to those accused of serious crimes in the name of protecting their children. It was finally signed into law.
How was that not a law? How was that not?
It just wasn't a law. And that's what the Bagbies did. They advocate. They were just full. They became activists, and they just thought the system was flawed, and so they were going to do something about it, and that's what they did. They push and push, and they finally, and it's called.
Well, that's nice that Canada listens to people like that when they have stories like that.
Yeah, it took them, almost a decade to do it. They're lucky, they're still alive that they actually got to see the change. Usually, you get to see, activism start, and then you don't see the change here for decades. So that's, even though it failed their son and it failed their grandson, at least they're trying. Yeah, at least they're trying to make a change. Mm-hmm. But before, the system was fucked, even in Canada. It was awful. So yeah, so that was the biggest thing, is that they got this bill, signed into law, which was awesome. So yeah. So David Bagby also penned a book about the case titled "Dance with the Devil: A Memoir of Murder and Loss," and it was published in 2007. And they did eventually move back to California. They got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, they did.
And that is the story of
Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple. No, that's the story of Zachary and Andrew. Fuck Shirley Turner.
Fuck you, Shirley. That is so sad.
It's super sad. It's very sad.
People better wake the fuck
I could tell you were sad because you didn't talk much that entire time.
No. I almost cried twice.
It's super sad and it's heartbreaking.
That's
but
why
at least,
you repeat that. And I was
yeah.
like, wait, what did you just say?
Well, and that's exactly what I had to rewind it when I was like, wait, what? Jesus, that's a horrible story. And it's sad because you're watching like this tiny little baby, and you're seeing all these little home videos, and you're seeing the footage 2 weeks before he dies, essentially, because you're watching this filmmaker document this, and he's filming all these families. He's going to England because part of his family is Andrew's family is in England, and you're watching all this happen, and then you watch, little Zachary, and you watch those little interviews with his grandparents, and it's horrible, and it's awful. Yeah, it's fucked up. But so that's it's a sad tale, but it was an interesting one, and it just shows, speak up, and change can happen. Even sometimes it can happen faster than you think, but I'm sure for the Bagbies it felt like a lifetime. I'm sure it still feels like they didn't win. I mean, not only did they lose their son, they lost their grandson in a horrific way. I mean, I can't imagine interacting with, your son's killers. Your son's killer.
Yeah, and knowing that they did it, and
you have
like
to play
seeing
nice.
her get
Yeah.
to be like,
Yeah, she would ask him things like, "Hey, do you think that you would do you feel like you could get like one of those frames like from the dollar store that says like mommy and daddy, and put a picture of me and Andrew in there together and put it in Zachary's room?" And Kate's like, "No, go fuck yourself. No." But she would have the audacity to do that because she thought that she could even manipulate the Bagbies, and she don't know who she was playing with.
she didn't know
She a
who
dumb
she
bitch.
was fucking.
But so, I mean, it was interesting that, I mean, David Bagby kind of says it in a nutshell. Andrew Bagby rejected her. She killed him. And then Zachary, her son, rejected her and she killed him. So she couldn't have him. Nobody was. And she knew that was going to hurt the Bagbies more than anything. So it's a very sad tale, but it's an interesting one. That's why I wanted to tell it.
Wow.
Okay.
Definitely never heard of that one.
Yeah, that's a rough one. But again, I highly recommend going to watch the documentary. It's really fascinating. So,
Dear Zachary.
Dear Zachary, it's on Prime.
I do have that.
Good, watch it. All right.
Curry.
Are you ready to roll?
Yeah, let's roll.
Yeah, because you're going to fall asleep. I see it.
Well, that was a hell of a show.
It was something.
Paranormal?
Oh, it's paranormal.
See what I get.
Oh, my word.
1.
Nostalgia.
Oh, I know what I'm going to do.
All right. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm gonna find a good story.
You're going to find out.
I'm going to find a good ghost story for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You
gonna
don't
be
want
a-
to talk about
I'm
cow
gonna be about
mutilating
ghosties.
aliens?
Nope. Sure don't. I do like aliens. I just find ghosts more fascinating. That's all.
Right.
I am
They're
right.
pretty sweet.
They are. All right.
They're
You ready to
pretty
get out of here?
weirdies. Yeah, I'm ready to
Yeah, you are. I
hit
can
the
tell.
road, Jack.
Don't come back. It's only 9:57.
But I have to.
Well, yeah, please come
to
back,
come
actually.
back
Yeah.
to do this podcast
Okay.
with you, Shay.
Okay. I know.
But I will hit the road. Oh, I know. Oh, I have a story.
Okay.
Now that I'm coherent a little bit more and ate all your mangoes.
I know. It's fine.
I did do something as a 30-year-old, which maybe I shouldn't have.
What is it?
I decided to try to climb a tree the other day,
Yeah.
barefoot.
What happened?
Oh, I definitely didn't climb a tree barefoot because that's stupid. And I was literally thinking like, oh, I'm badass. Like, I'm going to fucking do this.
Yeah.
Literally took like 1-2 steps up.
Did it
fell.
crack?
I landed my foot on a rock that had a huge like fucking branch on it. Smashed the branch, bruised the bottom of my foot, punctured the bottom of my foot.
Okay.
All in the name of me trying to climb a tree because I thought I was 8 years old again.
Well, that's
But I
kind
probably
of
should have had
precious.
shoes on.
I think that's precious.
And then I told Chris about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was looking at that tree the other because there's like a little platform, like tree,
He's like,
old ass tree
I'm
house.
glad
Who
you
knows
tried
how
it
long it's been
first, so
in
I
there.
didn't die.
It has like a yeah. He did. He was like going. He was like, I was looking at that, and I was gonna climb up there, but I was like, no, that's janky as fuck. So I was like, oh well.
Thanks, boyfriend.
I didn't think that. I just thought I was gonna
I
be
thought
a
I would
badass
just
and
climb it
shoot
on
up
up.
there.
And you were something.
But yeah, that's what happened this week.
I like that.
I tried to climb a
Because-
tree and I
well,
failed
yeah, well,
miserably.
I like that because I feel like if you were your 8-year-old self, that would have been an actual story too. Except you would have been like, and then I climbed it. It was awesome. And then I went and ate some snacks.
Uh-huh.
And I love it.
Pickles with provolone, bitch.
Yep, you're a psycho. That's okay.
It's delicious. Ask anyone who tries it and try it yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
hey guys, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, and if you want to share any episodes with anyone, you could.
Do it.
Or if you want to give us a shout out or give us a little comment on our episode if you listen to it about like maybe a favorite quote, or you can send us a voice message now. Those
I
are
like it.
fun. We gotten a couple of those. But yeah, it just shows us that you guys are liking what we're doing, and
Exactly.
we like
We like
what
you.
you're doing.
We do.
We love it. Also, if you see our cars, beep at us.
Do it, please.
If you see our cars driving around with our 30-ish podcast, that'd be sweet and
do it.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
I think it does.
You little munchkin.
Filthy animals.
What did we talk about last week? Wicked? No, that was 2 weeks ago.
Like,
What day is it? Monday?
we talked about food. You
Oh,
weirdo.
yeah, we cooked. Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye. So long. Bye-bye.